Definitely record.
All right. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Today is very historic, and as a Filipino who was born in the Philippines and migrated here, I'm very honored and privileged to be part of this historic moment where we're actually, the city of San Francisco is acknowledging the Filipino community's contribution in San Francisco. We helped build San Francisco, and it's about time the Filipino community is acknowledged for it. Is that right? Do you agree with that? Yes. So today, the Board of Supervisors will be voting to adopt a resolution called SOMA Filipinas, the Filipino Cultural Historic District. Again, my name is Anjalka Kambande, and I'll be your MC for today. I'm with SOMCAN. But for my first speaker, I actually want to acknowledge this great organization, because without their thinking and without their commitment to the Filipino community to make sure that we're not only acknowledged in San Francisco, but we sustain and live and grow in San Francisco, this district, this cultural district would not have happened. The Filipino American Development Foundation was actually the organization that thought of this idea, and we thank them for working with the community in order to put this together. So I wanted to call up Ligaya Avenida, who is the director of FADF. Please give a round of applause for her.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Ligaya Avenida. I am the president of the Filipino American Development Foundation Board of Directors, in which we house the Bayanihan Center, located on 6th and Mission Streets in San Francisco. This morning, our board, as well as the entire Filipino community in the city of San Francisco, urges the Board of Supervisors of this city to vote unanimously on this resolution that will establish SOMA Filipinas as the center for regional and cultural and heritage in the city of San Francisco. The story of the presence of Filipinos in the SOMA area has been told over and over repeatedly way back to the 1960s. I have been a part of that struggle and had witnessed the contributions and the challenges that have been met by the Filipinos who arrive in the SOMA area. When I did my career with the San Francisco School District, and we worked together to put educational programs that will serve the newly arrived students so that they are not left behind. I have worked with Filipino families then who were newly arrived, who were trying to struggle, working 2 jobs, living in cramped apartments, and trying to balance the role of parents in a city, in a country that demands so much that was different from the values that they had left and raised their children. The Filipino American Development Foundation is proud and privileged to spearhead this resolution, because 20 years ago, this was but a dream. It was a dream of a man, Dr. Mario Borja, a Filipino doctor who immigrated to the United States and who had a very successful practice in the city of San Francisco, and who envisioned that there should be a center in San Francisco that will provide services that will allow Filipinos to come together to celebrate their culture, their heritage, and take care of their needs. Well, Dr. Borja did not just talk the talk. Dr. Borja walked the talk. And he actually wanted to see the center into fruition. And so he donated a part of his hotel, the Delta Hotel, right on 6th and Mission, a space there which is now the Bayanihan Center. That is what you call walking the talk. The Bayanihan Center today stands tall on 6th and Mission. And under the leadership of our executive director, Bernadette Borja Sai, we have been able to provide programs and services ranging from Tagalog classes, mental health services, services for the seniors, for the youth, as well as a lot of services for newcomers to the city. So I hope that the commissioners are here and listening, but if they're not, I hope you send the message that in 2008, we proposed that one day we want to see a landmark along the corridors of Soma that will celebrate the cultural legacy of the Filipinos, that will remember the struggles and the contributions we have made, that we can pass along to our children, our grandchildren, and to the future generations of Filipinos to come. Yes, today is a historical event. Today, April 12, 2016, is the day that we make history in San Francisco. The votes of the supervisors will allow the Filipinos to continue to play a major part of the tapestry of the beautiful San Francisco that we all love. Today, we will validate the presence of the Filipinos who have lived and worked in the corridors of Soma for decades, and they have helped to make Soma what it is today. And so, commissioners, today your vote is critical. You will vote for the resolution unanimously because it is not only right, but it is the right thing to do for the city that you represent. Thank you.
Thank you, Ligaya. And what is a cultural district without performances, right? So we also wanted to highlight the different community artists in our community who not only helps with the everyday work of providing housing or finding housing, but also using art as a way to share our culture and share our issues. So I want to call up Caroline Calderon to bless us with her music. Caroline?
Hello. On April 9 marks the 74th commemoration of the fall of Bataan. And so I wanted to share a song with you all about Bataan, which was an event that happened during World War II where American and Filipino soldiers were forced to march. And so this song is about always remembering our history and also those who have come before us. You fought for those rays of sun, battling till the job was done. You walked to a fate unknown, dreaming of home. You are home, and I am home because of you. Remember march on to freedom. Always remember Bataan. Here we are in this broken world, asking for what our people deserve. Here we are, still fighting for those heroes. You are a hero, and I am here because of your strength. Remember, remember our history. Remember, remember those who fought so valiantly. March on to equality. Always remember Bataan. Remember, remember our history. Remember, remember those who fought so valiantly. Lolo, Lola, I promise to be near. I'll always remember Bataan.
Thank you, Caroline. I just want to acknowledge the supervisors that are here right now. Supervisor Jane Kim, Supervisor Avalos, and Supervisor Norman Yee, and Supervisor Campos, sorry. Without their hard work and support to the Filipino community and making sure there's diversity in San Francisco, this wouldn't have happened. I want to call up Supervisor Avalos to the mic. Please give him a hand.
Thank you, Angelica. I am thrilled to be here today and to vote in favor of Soma Pilipinas, the Filipino Cultural Heritage District. And what a great resolution. It's not very often that we have a resolution that has such incredible history before us. And reading it was something, a lot of new things about the heritage and history of Filipinos in San Francisco, going all the way back to 100 years ago when the U.S. First took over the Philippines, and when the Philippines was a colony of the United States, and the waves of migration that have happened. We still have these types of waves of migration and internal displacement both in the Philippines and in San Francisco, and it makes so much sense that we are establishing this cultural district so that we can actually protect the vitality, the institutions, the cultural institutions that are in the neighborhood, and support the economic development of the neighborhood and maintain the existence of Filipinos in the Soma district. I represent a part of San Francisco that has another large part of the Filipino community extending into San Mateo County and Daly City. And Soma for us represents the foothold of people coming to San Francisco and the first wave of people that are coming here. It makes so much sense that their presence can continue to be recognized and made strong as the years progress. So I want to thank Supervisor Kim for working with the Soma community, the Filipino community with SOMCAM, and the many community providers in the district, the community leaders of the Soma district for this great resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Avalos. I want to call up next Supervisor Jane Kim. Let's give it up for Supervisor Jane Kim.
Thank you, Angelica. This has been such a long road. We have been talking about recognizing the contributions and achievements of the Filipino American community in the South of Market since 2007. Many of you started with the Western Soma Task Force when we were doing the community planning to make sure that we are preserving our neighborhood while helping to grow our city with PDR office and residential. This was a big component of this, and I am proud to be the author of this legislation where we are finally going to be recognizing the Filipino American community in the South of Market. But this is why this district is so unique. Yes, we are going to recognize our incredible history, and I, by the way, am a beneficiary of the incredible work of this community. I live across from the park, the only multi-use park in the South of Market that this community fought for, Victoria Manalo Draves, named after the first Filipina gold medalist to win on behalf of this country. I live across from one of our public schools, the only public school to teach Tagalog as part of its program across the street from my house. I've been a part of working with this community to make sure our neighborhoods are safer for our seniors and our children, for our pedestrians. And of course, we are all a beneficiary of the work of this community in fighting to build more affordable housing in Chinatown, in the South of Market, in the Excelsior, and of course to preserve our existing rent control housing. We had a great announcement this morning where we have purchased another building in the South of Market on Natoma. And while it seems like a small achievement, these are 5 households that have lived in the South of Market for decades. They are our seniors, they are our working class residents that are going to stay in the neighborhood that I get to live in and continue to be neighbors. And this is what is making this district special. It is not just about preserving our history and our culture. It is also talking about how we can use land use controls and economic development tools to make sure that our community continues to stay in the South of Markets for decades to come. We want to ensure that our community leaders, our diversity, get to stay in San Francisco, and that we look at also preserving our arts institutions like Bindle Stiff Studio, the only Filipino performing arts center in the country, that we get to talk about how we get to preserve housing and continue to build more. So I just want to thank all of our community members for their years of work to make this a reality. And I also want to recognize April Veneracion Ang from my office, who has worked so hard to make sure that we could get this draft moving forward this year. So we have a lot more work to do to make this a reality, so we're really going to roll up our sleeves to make sure that we can make this happen. Also, finally, I want to recognize our Philippines consulate, Mrs. Batsuerta, who's also here today. Thank you for your support of this as well. Thank you.